There's a guy, no, totally scamming the taxpayer with a BS disability claim from his third failed try at boot camp. How do I get anyone to investigate him? Chris says 25%, a conservative figure, of disability claims are fraud. I'm a vet, and it's disgusting that people can get 100% with nothing wrong with them. All the vets I've either lived with or worked with have nothing wrong with them. It's bullshit. And then John says, I get what he's doing, but we all know the disabled vet who somehow gets a higher rating for a hemorrhoid. If you need it, go for it. I'd rather the VA keep their 20% and fix my knees. Disability fraud is bullshit. I agree with that 100%. It's illegal and it's bullshit. I teach people in my boot camp how to file a successful and winning VA claim. And if you want to check that out, you can head on over to combatcraig.com where I break it down Barney style. I do not put this information out there for veterans to take advantage of the system and file fraudulent VA claims. I am not for that at all. And if you're doing it, you're bullshit and you should stop and you should get thrown in jail. What is veterans benefits fraud? It actually is covered under 38 CFR 3.901, the official law that the fraudulent claimant is breaking, and that's the one that he's going to be prosecuted under. I threw it up here on the screen so you can see the first part of it, but I think we all have a pretty good idea of what fraud's all about. But look into the law a little bit, and you'll probably learn something. I know I learn something every time I review and read VA law. How would I go about reporting disability fraud? I know how hard it is to file a successful and winning VA claim because I was underrated for 27 years. So I know how hard it is. I don't think the VA is just handing out, 100% permanent total ratings willy-nilly. As a matter of fact, I know that's not happening. So I know that whatever veteran that I'm about to report, I know they had to at least prove their claim, and it wasn't like it was an easy proof. They needed to get medical evidence and a mountain of it. So that's something that I'm going to be keeping in mind. I'm all for reporting bad actors, but I want to make sure I don't waste the government's time filing a claim that's not grounded in facts. I'm probably not going to be able to get all the facts, but I want to get as many as possible. For me, solid evidence for myself, I probably have a little bit different way of doing this. Maybe it's the law enforcement background or something, but I'm not going to go off of hearsay. I need to see it, and I need to hear it, and I need to hear it from the veteran themselves. Believe it or not, there's a lot of veterans that brag about their disability ratings. This is why I say keep your disability rating on the down low. It's nobody's business. So if you're out there blabbering around, people are going to get jealous for a variety of reasons, and you might end up getting one of these reports filed on you. But for me, I'm going to need more. I'm going to need to hear it from the veteran himself, and I'm going to need to gather as much information as I can. So let's say some guy's bragging, and I ask him about his disability claim, and he's sharing info. I don't know why he would share personal info with me, but let's just say that he is, because that's what I would want. So he has a rating for his lower back. He has a rating for mental health, sleep apnea, and migraines, for example. So he's out there mowing his lawn and doing stuff, and he has a rating for his lower back. I would be wondering, is he having a good back day? Because I have bad back days. Is he on painkillers so he can kind of get through the day and do some mowing and lead a normal life? Has he had a recent epidural shot that removed all the radiculopathy out of his leg so he actually can hop on a riding mower and mow it? Those are things that I would be considering for the back. With sleep apnea, I would probably want to try to get into his house and see if there's a CPAP machine next to his bed that he's supposed to be using. Obviously, he could have a sleep apnea rating and not have a CPAP machine. He could have a lower rating, but that's like one thing that I would be doing. Obviously, I'm not going to say, hey, man, is it cool if I observe you sleeping all night long? Probably not going to let me do that. With the migraines part, pretty hard to detect that. You have prostrating events, they cause you to lay down. You need to be under surveillance, my surveillance, and I still would come up with a big question mark there. And then if it's a mental health rating, I know how tricky those can be. I mean, you're literally dealing with people that are crazy. I'm one of them. I'm crazy. I say things that I don't mean to say and I shouldn't say all the time. And I do it on this YouTube channel. I do it to other people. I do things that I shouldn't be doing. My solution for this is I just avoid people because then I'm not going to get in trouble with other people, road raging at them, saying inappropriate stuff to them, losing my shit on them. So I know mental health ratings are tricky. So I probably am not going to challenge that because I understand how difficult mental health is. This is going to be my approach. I'm going to give the veteran the benefit of the doubt. One, he's a veteran like I am. Two, at some point he had to prove that he had disabilities, and I know that wasn't easy. And three, if he's actually going to blabber to me and basically tell me he's scamming the system, if he's just crazy and running his mouth, I'm going to want to get as much information as possible. Now, that might not be your approach, and I totally get that. But I'm going with the benefit of the doubt rule, Combat Craig style. If you want to report stolen valor, I would report it to the FBI and the VA Office of Inspector General, the OIG. Let's review their fact sheet. And again, there's a link in the description. All right, this is the military records fraud fact sheet. I'm not going to read everything on here, but there's a couple of things that I want to draw your attention to. Isn't it always a crime to lie about military service? In general, no. While it may be morally reprehensible, it is usually not a crime. However, the Stolen Valor Act of 2013 makes it a crime for someone to claim they received certain medals in order to obtain money, property, or some other tangible benefit. The law only bars false claims about certain military awards, including the Purple Heart, Bronze Star, and a few others, and only when someone makes a false claim about them to gain money or some tangible benefit, a crime. Someone falsely claiming military service in order to brag or impress others is not a crime. However, our office can investigate other crimes as long as it involves forging, altering, or misusing records from NARA in some way. So they're breaking this down here, and this is good information. Generally speaking, it's not a crime unless you do this or that. This is why it's a good idea to read this fraud fact sheet and become familiar with VA law and the law surrounding veterans' disability fraud. So this is my 2 cents. This is my approach on how I think about reporting fraud. Is it bullshit? Absolutely. But I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt because I would hope that somebody would give that to me. If you're a veteran that's undercompensated and you're pissed off because somebody has a higher rating than you, I don't think that's a very good reason. But again, you could do whatever you want for whatever reason you like. But this is just my approach to it, the way I think about it. I don't talk about it with my neighbors, and my circle is limited, and I do that on purpose because it's nobody else's business that I'm disabled. And I don't need those types of questions because when you look at me, you may think, oh, well, he looks fine. I do have heavy mental health ratings and sleep apnea and back problems and foot problems. And I understand what a good pain day is and a bad pain day is. And now that I'm off of opioids for over a year now I'm trying to figure out how to live my life without being able to pop a painkiller and just kind of muscle through it. So I'm doing things in moderation. I'm in cognitive behavioral therapy for chronic pain. I talked to my shrink. I talked to the VA. So I understand what it's like living in chronic pain, and I still have to figure out how to live my life and do things that are somewhat normal, like hopping on the riding mower and mowing the lawn. So fraud's bullshit. Want to make that clear. But consider a few things before you go flying off on somebody half-cocked. If you're the kind of guy or girl that is reporting a veteran, I hope you're reporting everything. Reporting fraud, waste, and abuse when you see it at the post office, when you see it at your city hall, when you see it in any government agency where there's fraud, waste, and abuse occurring. I hope you're not just focusing on one veteran. So with that, I'll see you in the next video.